That night, the rain didn't fall softly. It fell like judgment. Marcus Johnson stood in the doorway of the mansion he once called home, holding a small bag with only 2 shirts inside. His eyes were calm, but his chest looked like it was breaking in silence. Behind him, the warm lights of the house made everything look perfect, except the woman standing inside. Ariana Johnson, billionaire CEO of Ariana Lux, the most powerful woman in the city, was shaking with tears, but her voice tried to sound strong. "Marcus, leave," she whispered. Marcus looked at her like she was the only thing in the world. "Ariana, I didn't do it." Before she could answer, 2 people stepped forward behind Ariana, like shadows wearing designer clothes. The first was Derek Coleman, Ariana's longtime male friend, always charming, always smiling, and always watching Ariana like she belonged to him. The second was Vanessa Reed, Ariana's best friend, stylish, beautiful, and dangerously calm, with eyes that looked friendly but weren't. Vanessa tilted her head and spoke softly. "You saw the video, Ariana. The whole world saw it. Don't let him fool you." Ariana's tears fell harder. I can't do this anymore." Marcus didn't beg. He didn't shout. He only took off his wedding ring, held it in his palm for a second, then closed his fist like he was trapping pain inside. "Then I'll go," he said quietly. "But one day, you'll know the truth." He turned and walked into the storm, and Ariana didn't know it yet. But the moment she kicked Marcus out was the moment she accidentally pushed a king toward his throne. 2 weeks before Marcus was kicked out, the morning sun poured into the Johnson mansion like gold, touching every expensive surface. Marble floors, crystal vases, designer art. Yet the most valuable thing in that house wasn't the furniture. It was the man in the kitchen. Marcus Johnson, Ariana's husband, gentle, educated, and currently unemployed, stood at the stove in a clean apron, stirring oatmeal like it was a love letter. He wasn't lazy, he wasn't weak. Life had simply not opened doors for him yet. And instead of becoming bitter, Marcus became steady. He plated breakfast with care, sliced fruit neatly, and set out Ariana's coffee exactly how she liked it. 2 cubes of sugar, a dash of cinnamon. Then he smiled to himself and whispered, almost like a prayer, "She's going to conquer the world again today." Ariana walked in moments later. Ariana Johnson, CEO of Ariana Lux, a certified billionaire, a woman whose name alone could silence rooms, wore a sleek robe, her hair flawless, her presence powerful even without makeup. But the second she looked at Marcus, her eyes softened. "Good morning, my king," she said gently. Marcus laughed softly. "No, baby, you're the one wearing the crown." Ariana walked to him, hugged him from behind, and rested her cheek on his shoulder. To the world, Ariana was untouchable, but at home, she was just Ariana, and Marcus was her peace. Marcus served her breakfast and kissed her forehead. Ariana smiled like she forgot she was a billionaire for a moment. Ariana's phone buzzed non-stop. Meetings, media, investors, photo shoots. The pressure never stopped. Marcus watched her carefully. "You're carrying the whole city again," he said. Ariana forced a laugh. "I can handle it." Marcus took her hand. "Then let me handle you." Later that day, Ariana walked into her company like a storm in heels. Employees straightened instantly. At her side was Lena Brooks, Ariana's assistant, young, smart, and quietly loyal, the type who noticed everything but spoke carefully. Lena handed Ariana a tablet. "Your parents called twice, and your friends are waiting in your office." Ariana sighed. "Of course they are." In Ariana's office, Derek Coleman stood near the window, looking confident like he owned the city. Derek, Ariana's longtime male friend, ambitious and polished, offered her a warm smile that felt slightly too personal. "Ariana," he said, stepping closer. You're glowing. Lena's eyes narrowed slightly, but she stayed silent. Ariana sat down. What do you want, Derek? Derek leaned casually on her desk. I want to protect you, that's all, because you're Ariana Johnson. He paused, then added softly, and Marcus, he's not built for your world. A moment later, Vanessa Reed walked in like a runway model. Vanessa, Ariana's best friend, stylish, calculating and always perfectly composed, hugged Ariana tightly. You look tired, babe, Vanessa said. This empire is heavy, and you're carrying it alone. Ariana frowned. I'm not alone, I have Marcus. Vanessa's smile didn't move her eyes. Ariana, you have a husband, but do you have a partner? Derek and Vanessa exchanged a quick look, small, almost invisible. Derek spoke again, voice smooth. He's educated but unemployed. The city is laughing behind your back. Vanessa nodded. Even your parents are worried. You're a billionaire, Ariana. You deserve a man the world respects. Ariana's throat tightened. She loved Marcus, deeply, but for the first time, she felt the invisible weight of outside opinions pressing against her marriage. That evening, Ariana arrived home and found Marcus humming softly while folding laundry. He looked up and smiled, and Ariana smiled back. But her mind wasn't fully there, because earlier that day, as Vanessa hugged Ariana goodbye, she whispered something that Ariana couldn't shake. Don't worry, babe. I'll help you open your eyes. Soon. And across town, in a quiet cafe, Vanessa sat down with a stranger, a woman Ariana had never seen before, and slid an envelope across the table. Vanessa's voice was calm. I don't need you to seduce him, she said. I just need one thing. She leaned closer. A kiss, where the whole city can see it. The following morning, Ariana woke up in silk sheets, but her mind felt like it had been running all night. She lay there staring at the ceiling, hearing yesterday's words repeat like a curse. The city is laughing behind your back. Do you have a husband or a partner? Beside her, Marcus Johnson, her gentle husband, educated but still struggling to find work, was already up. He moved around the room quietly, tying his shoes, careful not to disturb her peace. Marcus had that kind of love, the kind that entered a room softly and tried to carry your burden without making noise. He walked back to the bed with a warm cup in his hand. I made ginger tea, he said, brushing her cheek with his thumb. You looked stressed yesterday. Ariana forced a smile and sat up. Thank you. Marcus didn't celebrate her smile the way he normally would. He studied her face like he could see the storm behind it. Ariana, talk to me, he said gently. Whatever it is, we'll handle it together. For a second, Ariana almost confessed everything. How the whispers were growing, how her friends had planted doubt, how her parents were tightening the leash. But before she could speak, her phone rang, loud and sharp in the quiet room. The screen flashed, Denise Carter. Denise was Ariana's mother, wealthy, influential, and obsessed with image. To her, love was only valuable if it looked good in public. Ariana answered. Mom, Denise didn't greet her. Ariana, your father and I are meeting you at lunch, today. Ariana exhaled. Can it wait? I have... No, Denise cut in. And don't bring Marcus. Ariana froze. Why? Denise's tone turned icy. Because he embarrasses our family. Marcus stood only a few steps away. He didn't react with anger. He didn't argue. He just lowered his eyes like a man swallowing something bitter without wanting anyone to see the taste of it. Ariana felt guilt stab her chest, but the call was already over. Later that day, Ariana arrived at Ariana Luxe headquarters, stepping out of her car into flashing cameras. Reporters shouted questions like bullets. Ariana, is it true your husband is unemployed? Ariana, are you still supporting him? Ariana, is your marriage hurting your brand? Ariana kept her face calm, the way powerful women were trained to do, but her heart was shaking. At her side stood Lena Brooks, her assistant, young, sharp, and quietly loyal. Lena leaned close and whispered, "They weren't waiting yesterday. Someone tipped them." Ariana's stomach tightened. She didn't need proof to know who enjoyed watching her suffer. Inside the building, she barely had time to breathe before she saw Derek Coleman waiting near her office. Derek was her longtime male friend, charming, ambitious, and always smiling like he belonged beside her. He held out a cup of coffee like a savior. "I figured you'd need this." Ariana didn't take it. "What are you doing here, Derek?" He sighed like he was tired of watching her make mistakes. "Protecting you. That's what I've always done." Then his voice lowered. "You see it now, right? They're attacking you because of him." Ariana's jaw tightened. "Don't start." "I'm not attacking Marcus," Derek said smoothly. "I'm just telling you the truth. A queen can't drag a man the world doesn't respect." Before Ariana could respond, Vanessa Reed walked in like a perfume commercial, beautiful, stylish, and dangerous in the way she smiled. Vanessa was Ariana's closest female friend, but lately her comfort felt like a trap wrapped in kindness. Vanessa hugged Ariana tightly. "Babe, I saw the press outside. I hate this for you." Ariana's eyes stung. "It's getting worse." Vanessa pulled back, holding Ariana's shoulders, speaking softly like a sister. "Because you're carrying dead weight." Ariana swallowed hard. "Marcus is not dead weight." Vanessa's smile stayed sweet. "He's a nice man, but nice men don't protect queens." At lunch, Ariana sat across from her parents in a restaurant that smelled like money. Harold Carter, her father, wealthy, respected, and proud, looked at her like she was a business decision, not a daughter. Denise leaned forward. "Investors are asking questions. Friends are whispering. This marriage is bad for our name." Harold added, "A man without work is a man without direction." Ariana's voice trembled. He's trying. He's searching. He takes care of me in ways you don't understand." Denise scoffed. "He's comfortable, Ariana, living like a prince in your palace." Harold's eyes hardened. "Divorce him before he stains the Carter name." Ariana left that lunch feeling like she was being pulled apart. That evening, Marcus was in the kitchen again, cooking dinner with the same love he always served. He looked up when she entered and smiled like home still meant something. "You're home early," he said warmly. "How was your day?" Ariana opened her mouth, but her phone buzzed. An unknown number. A photo appeared on the screen. Marcus in a shopping district, and a woman's hand pressed against his chest. Ariana's breath caught. Then another message came. "Tomorrow, you'll see the full video." Ariana's knees went weak, and somewhere across the city, Vanessa Reed stared at her own phone and whispered with a calm smile, "Now the queen will finally break." The next day, Ariana barely tasted her breakfast. Marcus tried to act normal, the way he always did when he sensed her anxiety. He served her food, asked about her schedule, and smiled like love could block out the noise of the world. But Ariana's eyes kept drifting to her phone, waiting for the threat to become reality. By noon, it did. A notification exploded across social media. Ariana's fingers trembled as she opened the video. The screen showed a crowded shopping district, people walking, traffic humming, and then Marcus appeared, holding 2 shopping bags, moving like a man focused on finishing errands for his wife. For a second, Ariana's heart softened. That's Marcus, she thought. He's always thinking of home. Then the woman stepped in. She was tall, dressed in a tight red dress, lipstick sharp, eyes hungry. Her name was Tasha Lane, a stranger to Ariana, but a woman paid to play a role. Tasha smiled at Marcus as if they had history. Marcus stopped, confused. His brows pulled together, his mouth opening like he was about to ask who she was. But Tasha didn't let him speak. She grabbed his collar with bold hands and kissed him. Not softly, not quickly. It was the kind of kiss designed for cameras. And the cameras were ready. People around them gasped. Someone shouted. Phones lifted into the air like 100 eyes, recording Marcus from every angle. The video ended with Marcus pulling back, his face frozen in shock, his hands half raised like he didn't even know where to place them. Ariana's world went silent. She replayed it once, twice, 3 times. The comments were worse than the kiss. Billionaire husband cheating. She married a broke man, and this is what she gets. He's using her. Embarrassing. Her chest tightened like her lungs were shrinking. She stumbled into her office, but even the walls felt like they were whispering. Lena Brooks, her assistant, loyal and observant, followed behind her, eyes wide. "Ma'am, I swear this feels staged," Lena said carefully. "Look at the camera angle. It's too perfect." Ariana didn't answer. Her hands were shaking. Minutes later, Derek Coleman appeared as if he had been waiting for tragedy. Derek, Ariana's charming friend with ambition hidden behind his smile, walked in, holding his phone up like evidence. "I saw it," he said softly. "I'm sorry." Ariana's eyes were glassy. "I don't understand." Derek sighed, sitting too close, voice dripping with false concern. "This is what I've been trying to tell you," he murmured. "He's not a man built for your world. The moment pressure came, he broke." Ariana's throat burned. "Marcus wouldn't—" Just then, Vanessa Reed entered. Vanessa, Ariana's best friend, stylish and calculating, didn't rush. She moved slowly, like someone savoring control. She wrapped Ariana in a hug and whispered, "Oh, babe, I'm so sorry. This must be killing you." Ariana pulled back, tears forming. "Do you think it's true?" Vanessa tilted her head like a sister delivering painful truth. "Ariana," she said softly, "the whole city has seen it. If you forgive him publicly, they will eat you alive." Ariana's phone rang again. Her mother. Denise Carter's voice came sharp and cold. "We warned you!" Ariana tried to breathe. "Mom, please!" Her father's voice cut in, harsher. "Bring him to the house tonight. If he can't explain himself, you will end this marriage." Ariana's fingers tightened around her phone until her knuckles whitened. That evening, Marcus came home carrying groceries, smiling as if nothing had changed. He kissed Ariana's forehead. "I got the ingredients you like," he said warmly. "We'll have dinner together." Ariana stared at him like he was a stranger wearing her husband's face. "Marcus," her voice cracked, "where were you today at noon?" Marcus blinked. "Shopping. For you." "Why?" Ariana held up the phone with the video playing. Marcus watched, his face drained of color. He stepped back slowly, shock flooding his eyes. "Ariana, I've never seen that woman in my life." But before he could say more, a knock thundered on the door. And when Ariana opened it, Derek and Vanessa walked in, uninvited, like they owned the moment. Vanessa's eyes landed on Marcus, and she smiled softly. "Now," she whispered, "let's see how long the truth survives." That same night, the air inside the mansion turned heavy, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. Marcus stood in the living room, still staring at the video on Ariana's phone like it was a nightmare someone had edited with his face. His hands opened and closed slowly, not in anger, but in confusion, like a man trying to understand how his life could be stolen in 30 seconds. "Ariana," he said gently, "I swear to you, I don't know that woman." Ariana's eyes were wet, but her posture was stiff, as if she was forcing herself not to fall apart. She wanted to believe him. She really did. But behind her, Derek and Vanessa stood like two judges ready to deliver a sentence. Derek Coleman, Ariana's longtime male friend, charming and ambitious, shook his head slowly, pretending to be disappointed. "Marcus," he sighed, "you could have at least respected her enough to do it quietly." Marcus turned sharply. "I didn't do anything." Vanessa Reed, Ariana's best friend, stylish and dangerously calm, tilted her head, watching Marcus like she was studying an insect. "Then explain why she kissed you," Vanessa said softly. "Explain why you didn't push her away immediately." Marcus's chest tightened. "I was in shock. I didn't even know—" Vanessa cut him off with a sweet smile. "The cameras didn't capture shock, Marcus. They captured betrayal." Ariana flinched at that word. Betrayal. It sounded too sharp for someone she loved. Marcus stepped closer to Ariana, careful, as if she were fragile glass. "Look at me," he pleaded quietly. "You know me. You know my heart. I've never—" Ariana's phone rang again. She didn't even need to look. It was her parents. Her fingers trembled as she answered. Denise Carter's voice exploded through the speaker. "Ariana, the whole city is laughing at us." Harold Carter's voice followed, colder and heavier. "Put him on the phone." Marcus swallowed and took a step toward her, but Ariana held the phone away, as if distance could soften the damage. Harold spoke like a man reading a contract. "Marcus, you have one chance. Tell me why my daughter's name is being dragged through the streets." Marcus's voice stayed calm but pained. "Sir, I didn't cheat. Someone set me up." Denise laughed bitterly. "Set you up? Oh, please. You're unemployed, living off our daughter, and now you want to insult her intelligence too?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "I'm not living off her. I take care of the home. I support her." Harold cut in. "A man who can't provide financially has no right to bring shame." Ariana's eyes filled again. Marcus whispered, "Ariana, please." But Derek stepped forward, voice gentle like a snake pretending to be a rope. "Ariana," Derek said, "your parents are right. Your company is suffering. Your image is bleeding. If you don't cut him off, the world will assume you accept cheating." Ariana turned to Vanessa, desperate. "Vanessa, you know Marcus. Tell them this could be a mistake." Vanessa's eyes softened. Too late, too fake. "I want to help you, babe," she whispered, "but I can't lie to you. That video, it's too clear." Ariana's breath shook. She looked at Marcus, the man who cooked her meals, waited up for her, held her when she was tired, the man who never raised his voice at her, even when the world did, and still, the pressure was crushing her like a mountain. Marcus reached into his pocket and slowly pulled out his wedding ring, holding it between two fingers. "I'm not asking you to choose me over your empire," he said quietly. "I'm asking you to choose what you know is true." Ariana's lips trembled, but her fear was louder than her love. "Marcus," she whispered, voice breaking. "Leave." Marcus froze. Even Derek stopped breathing. Marcus stared at her for a long moment, as if waiting for her to take the words back, but Ariana's eyes dropped to the floor, ashamed and devastated. Marcus nodded slowly, swallowing pain like a man swallowing fire. He placed the wedding ring gently on the table. "If this is what you want," he said softly, "then I'll go." He walked toward the door. Ariana's tears fell harder. At the doorway, Marcus turned back one last time. "I didn't betray you," he said, "but one day you'll find out who did." Then he stepped outside into the night. The door shut, and Ariana collapsed against the wall, sliding down like her strength had been unplugged. Behind her, Vanessa watched silently and smiled. The next morning, the mansion looked the same, but Ariana's heart didn't. Her side of the bed felt too wide. The kitchen was too quiet. The air smelled like expensive candles and heartbreak. But across town, Marcus Johnson was walking with no destination. He hadn't slept. He hadn't eaten. His phone had no missed calls because the one person he wanted to hear from was silent. Marcus's shoes splashed through puddles as he moved through the city like a ghost. Every reflection in every glass window reminded him of one thing. He had been loyal and still got punished. By noon, the cold finally forced him into a small roadside cafe. He sat in the corner with his hands clasped, staring at nothing. That's when an older man stepped into the cafe and spotted him immediately. Pastor Eli Moore was not a flashy man. He wore simple clothes and carried calm in his eyes, like he had seen many people fall apart and knew how to pull them back together. Years ago, when Marcus was in university, Pastor Eli had mentored him through a scholarship program. Marcus hadn't seen him in a long time. "Marcus," Pastor Eli said softly, walking closer. "Son, what happened to you?" Marcus tried to speak, but his throat tightened. He looked away, embarrassed. Pastor Eli sat down anyway. "Your eyes are screaming. Talk to me." And for the first time since he was kicked out, Marcus finally let his voice break. "She threw me out," Marcus whispered. "She believed them. She believed a video." Pastor Eli's face hardened. "What video?" Marcus explained everything in fragments. Vanessa, Derek, the staged kiss, the humiliation, the way Ariana's parents hated him, the way Ariana's fear overpowered her love. Pastor Eli listened without interrupting. When Marcus finished, the pastor leaned back slowly. "Life doesn't always reveal the truth immediately," he said, "but truth has a way of catching up with liars." Marcus gave a bitter laugh. "Truth won't help me sleep tonight." Pastor Eli reached into his pocket and slid a small card across the table. On it was a name printed in bold. Blackwell Holdings. Marcus stared at it. Pastor Eli spoke gently. "You once told me your mother mentioned a Blackwell name before she passed, that you never understood it. You said it felt like a door you were never allowed to open." Marcus swallowed. His mother had died years ago, leaving him with only a few confusing memories, and one strange detail. She always became tense whenever the word Blackwell came up on TV. "I don't know anything about them," Marcus admitted. Pastor Eli nodded. "Maybe it's time you do. They're hiring. Go apply. Not because it will fix your marriage, but because you need to stand on your own feet again." Marcus stared at the card for a long moment. Then he nodded. That afternoon, Marcus stood outside a towering glass building that scraped the sky. The sign at the top read, "Blackwell Holdings," in clean silver letters. People entered wearing expensive suits, moving like they belonged in a different world. Marcus adjusted his simple shirt, took a deep breath, and walked inside. The lobby was massive, marble floors, gold accents, a fountain that looked like it cost more than his entire life. A young receptionist looked up. "Good afternoon. Do you have an appointment?" "No," Marcus said calmly. "I'm here to apply for work. Anything available, even janitorial." The receptionist blinked like she wasn't used to hearing that word in this building. She gestured toward a waiting area. "Fill this out." Marcus sat down. As he wrote his name on the form, he felt eyes on him. Not normal eyes, staring eyes, the kind that recognized something. He looked up and saw a security guard frozen near the entrance, staring at his neck. Marcus frowned. "Is something wrong?" The guard didn't answer. He stepped closer slowly, as if he wasn't sure what he was seeing. Marcus turned slightly, confused, and the collar of his shirt shifted just enough to reveal the distinctive birthmark on the side of his neck. The guard's face drained of color. Behind him, a woman in a sharp navy suit emerged from a private hallway. She was older, elegant, and her posture screamed authority. Her name was Evelyn Blackwell, Theodore Blackwell's former assistant, a woman who had served the Blackwell Empire for decades and guarded its secrets like a soldier. Her eyes landed on Marcus's neck. Time stopped. Evelyn's hand flew to her mouth. Her knees trembled. Then she whispered, like she had been praying for this moment her whole life. "It's him." The lobby staff turned. More executives came out. A man with silver hair and a cold expression stepped forward, holding a leather folder like it contained fate. He was Mr. Grant Holloway, Blackwell Holdings' legal executor, feared by the elite, the man responsible for Theodore Blackwell's final will. Holloway's eyes locked onto the birthmark. He opened the folder slowly, pulled out a document and compared an old photograph to Marcus's face. Then, without hesitation, Mr. Holloway dropped to one knee. Evelyn followed, then the security guard, then the receptionist, one by one. The entire lobby fell to their knees. Marcus stood frozen, his breath caught in his chest. What is going on?" he whispered. Mr. Holloway lifted his head, voice steady and formal. "Welcome home," he said, and Marcus didn't realize it yet. But the moment Ariana kicked him out was the moment the city's hidden king walked into his throne room. Minutes later, Marcus still hadn't moved. He stood in the center of the lobby, while grown men in suits remained on their knees like he was royalty. His mind refused to accept what his eyes were seeing. This wasn't a movie. This was his life. Mr. Grant Holloway rose first, smoothing his expensive suit as if kneeling was simply part of his job description. He gave a small nod to the staff, and instantly everyone stood, but the fear and reverence stayed in their eyes. "Please," Holloway said to Marcus, voice calm but firm. "Come with me." Marcus swallowed. "Sir, I think you've made a mistake. I'm here to apply for work." Evelyn Blackwell stepped forward carefully, her eyes wet. She looked like a woman who had been holding her breath for years. "My boy," she whispered, then stopped herself, remembering she was not allowed emotion in front of executives. "You are not here for work. You are here because you were missing." Marcus's chest tightened. "Missing from what?" Holloway didn't answer in the lobby. He turned and walked, expecting Marcus to follow. Two security guards moved to either side, not threatening, but protective. Marcus followed them through a private hallway, into an elevator that required a fingerprint scan, up past floors that looked like they belonged to another universe. When the elevator doors opened, Marcus stepped into a silent executive floor with framed photographs lining the walls. Old black and white images of a stern, powerful man shaking hands with presidents, standing beside skyscrapers, cutting ribbons at openings. Marcus pointed at one picture. "Who is that?" Evelyn's voice softened. "Theodore Blackwell." The name hit Marcus like thunder. He had heard it before, on TV, in whispered conversations, in the tense silence that used to fill his mother's face whenever the name appeared anywhere, but he never knew why it mattered. Holloway led Marcus into a boardroom. At the end of the long table sat a single chair that looked untouched, like it had been waiting. "Sit," Holloway said. Marcus hesitated, then sat slowly. Evelyn placed a thick file in front of him. Inside were documents, letters, hospital records, and an old birth certificate with a name Marcus had never seen in his life. Marcellus Theodore Blackwell. Marcus stared at it. "That's not my name." Holloway opened another page, an old photo of a baby with the same birthmark on the neck. "You were taken," Holloway said, voice controlled like he had said these words many times in private. "As an infant. Your grandfather searched for you for years. He died without seeing you again." Marcus's hands shook slightly as he flipped through the pages. There were reports of a missing child, reports of a woman fleeing with a baby. There were sealed documents stamped with court orders. And then there was a final letter, handwritten in sharp, confident strokes. Holloway slid it toward him. "It is my final wish," Marcus read quietly, his voice cracking, "that my missing grandson be found by the mark on his neck. When he is found, he will inherit everything. Every company, every account, every asset. Blackwell Holdings belongs to him alone." Marcus looked up, stunned. This is insane," Evelyn's voice broke. "It's real. I held you once before you disappeared. Your mother worked here. She loved you more than life. But something happened. Something dangerous." Marcus's throat tightened. His mother's face flashed in his mind, the way she used to hold him close, like she was protecting him from invisible hands. Holloway leaned forward slightly. Theodore Blackwell was one of the richest and most feared investors in New York. Real estate, banking, technology. His empire is everywhere. But he never smiled after you vanished. Marcus's breath came shaky. "So, what now?" Holloway opened a black folder and pushed it across the table. "Now," he said, "you take your place as chairman, effective immediately." Marcus stared at the folder like it was a weapon. Then he whispered, almost to himself, "Ariana." The name slipped out before he could stop it. Evelyn noticed. "Your wife?" Marcus nodded slowly, pain rising in his eyes. "She kicked me out last night." Holloway's gaze sharpened. "Then why are you thinking about her?" Marcus swallowed hard. "Because I still love her." Evelyn's face softened with sympathy. "If you reveal who you are, everyone will crawl back, even the ones who hurt you." Marcus looked down at the documents again. His fingers slowly traced the new name, Marcellus Blackwell. Then he closed the file. "No," he said quietly. "Not yet." Holloway's brows lifted. "Explain." Marcus's voice grew steadier, the way it always did when he made a decision. "If Ariana comes back only because I'm rich," he said, "then she never loved me. I need to know if she would choose me when I have nothing." Evelyn shook her head gently. "That test could break you." Marcus gave a sad smile. "I'm already broken. I just don't want to be fooled twice." Holloway stared at him for a long moment, then nodded once. "Very well," he said, "but understand this. There are people in this city who will kill to control Blackwell Holdings. If you hide, you must be protected." Marcus stood. "Protect me. Quietly." Evelyn stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Then we must change everything. Your movements, your name, your security." Marcus pulled his shirt collar up slightly, covering the birthmark, and as he walked out of that boardroom, still dressed like a broke man, the most powerful empire in the city had just gained a king who didn't want the throne. Not yet. 2 days after Marcus walked out of Blackwell Holdings, he returned to the only place that still felt familiar, his old neighborhood. Not because he had nowhere else to go, but because his heart kept dragging him back to Ariana, even after she had pushed him into the storm. Marcus wore a simple cap pulled low and a plain jacket that hid the sharpness of his new reality. He looked like the same unemployed husband the city had mocked, just another man trying to survive. What no one noticed was the distance. A black SUV rolled slowly behind him, never too close, never too far. Inside were quiet men with earpieces, Blackwell security, watching like shadows. They didn't speak to Marcus unless they had to. They were instructed by Mr. Grant Holloway to protect the heir without making him feel like a prisoner. Marcus hated it. He wanted to be alone. He wanted silence. But most of all, he wanted one thing: answers. He walked past a small grocery store where he used to buy Ariana's favorite snacks. He passed the bench where she once sat beside him and laughed so hard she cried. Every corner held a memory, and every memory pressed on his chest like a hand. Then he saw the crowd, not a huge crowd, Just enough people gathered outside a luxury cafe to make Marcus's stomach tighten. A few phones were raised, a few whispers floated through the air like smoke. Marcus slowed. Then he saw her. Ariana Johnson stepped out of a sleek black car, dressed in a designer outfit that looked like armor. Her face was flawless, her posture tall, but her eyes were tired in a way the cameras couldn't capture. Marcus's heart stumbled. For a moment he forgot the betrayal, he forgot the pain. He only remembered the woman who used to hug him from behind in the kitchen, like the world couldn't touch her there. Then Derek appeared. Derek Coleman, charming, ambitious, always smiling like he belonged beside Ariana, walked out of the cafe and moved close to her with a confidence Marcus hated. Marcus stayed frozen behind a parked car, his cap low, his breath shallow. Derek leaned in and whispered something to Ariana. She didn't smile. She didn't pull away either. Her eyes darted to the cameras like she was measuring the cost of every second. And then Marcus saw the truth hiding behind her expression. This wasn't romance. This was performance. Ariana's parents had always cared about image more than love. Marcus could almost hear Denise Carter's voice, cold and sharp, telling Ariana to fix the scandal. Harold Carter would be standing somewhere in the background of her life, reminding her that power demanded sacrifice. Ariana looked trapped, but Marcus didn't know that. Not fully. All Marcus saw was Derek's hand sliding to Ariana's waist, and Ariana allowing it. The phones around them lifted higher. Derek turned his face toward the cameras deliberately, like a man giving the world what it wanted. Then he kissed her. It wasn't long, but it wasn't accidental either. It was the kind of kiss designed to be seen. Marcus felt his legs weaken. His vision blurred for a second as pain rushed up from his stomach into his chest, like a wave trying to drown him. He gripped the edge of the parked car to stay standing. The kiss ended. Ariana's eyes lowered immediately, her lips tight, like she wanted to erase what just happened. Derek smiled at the cameras like a victorious man. Marcus couldn't breathe. He stepped back, shaky, and turned away before anyone could notice him. But the street felt like it was spinning. He made it to a quiet alley, then finally dropped to his knees like his body had given up fighting. His fists pressed against the wet ground. His voice came out as a broken whisper. "So it's true." A tear slid down his cheek, one he didn't even remember releasing. Behind him, the black SUV stopped a little too fast. One of the security men stepped out, tall, broad, face serious, and spoke carefully, like he wasn't sure how to comfort a king who didn't want a crown. "Sir, we should leave." Marcus didn't answer right away. He just stared at the pavement like it had the power to explain why love hurt this much. Then he forced himself to stand. "Take me away from here," he said hoarsely. And as the SUV pulled off, Marcus didn't notice the woman across the street, watching from behind dark sunglasses. Vanessa Reed. She had seen the pain on his face. She had seen the way the SUV moved like it belonged to him. And as she slowly smiled, one thought formed in her mind like a weapon being sharpened. "Marcus Johnson, you're hiding something." The following evening, Marcus sat alone in a quiet apartment he didn't pay for. The place was clean, modern, and far too expensive for the broke husband everyone believed he was. But Marcus didn't enjoy it. He barely even looked at it. His mind was still stuck at that cafe. Ariana's lips, Derek's victory smile, the cameras eating it all up like entertainment. He stood by the window with his hands in his pockets, staring down at the city lights as if they were distant stars he could never reach again. Behind him, the doorbell rang. Marcus didn't move. It rang again. Finally, he turned and opened the door. Vanessa Reed stood there like she had been invited. Vanessa, Ariana's best friend, stylish, calculating, and dangerously confident, wore a fitted cream coat and heels that clicked like warning signs. Her lipstick was perfect. Her eyes were calm. Marcus stared at her, shocked. "How did you find me?" Vanessa smiled softly. "You'd be surprised what I can find when I'm curious." Marcus tightened his jaw. "If you're here to insult me, don't waste your time." Vanessa stepped inside without permission, glancing around the apartment like she was inspecting something valuable. "This is a nice place for an unemployed man," she said lightly. Marcus's heartbeat shifted. He kept his face calm. "I'm staying with a friend." Vanessa walked closer, slow and deliberate. "A friend with private security?" Marcus's eyes flashed. "What do you want?" Vanessa's smile widened slightly, like she enjoyed his discomfort. "I want to talk," she said, "because I've been watching you, Marcus." Marcus stiffened. "That's creepy." Vanessa shrugged. "Maybe, but what's creepier is how calm you are after being destroyed." She tilted her head. "Most men would be begging outside Ariana's gate right now. Most men would be drinking themselves into madness. But you walk around like a man who knows something the rest of us don't." Marcus didn't answer. Vanessa took a step closer and lowered her voice, like she was about to confess something intimate. "Tell me the truth," she whispered. "Who are you really?" Marcus's chest tightened. He forced a small laugh. "I'm Marcus, just a man who got humiliated." Vanessa studied his face for a long moment, then sighed dramatically, as if she had decided to stop hunting and start playing. "Fine," she said. "If you won't tell me your secret, then I'll tell you mine." Marcus's brows pulled together. "I'm not interested." Vanessa's eyes sharpened. "You should be." She reached into her handbag and pulled out her phone. She tapped it a few times, then turned the screen toward him. It was a photo of Ariana and Derek in a private lounge, sitting close. Marcus's stomach twisted. Vanessa watched his reaction carefully. "You think that cafe kiss hurt?" she asked softly. "That was nothing." Marcus's voice went low. "What is this?" Vanessa's tone turned poisonous sweet. "This is Ariana moving on. This is Ariana choosing a real man." Marcus clenched his fists. "Stop!" Vanessa sighed. "Marcus, I'm actually doing you a favor, because you deserve to know what everyone else already knows." Marcus stared at the photo, breathing hard. "I saw the kiss yesterday." Vanessa nodded. "And you still don't understand." She stepped closer and lowered her voice again. "Ariana has been with Derek for a long time," Vanessa said slowly. "Not just now, I mean, for years." Vanessa's eyes softened, pretending compassion. "I didn't want to believe it either. But I'm telling you because I care about you." Marcus stared at her like he was looking at a stranger wearing Ariana's trust. Then Vanessa did something that made his blood run cold. She reached out and held his hand. "I want you," she said quietly. Marcus pulled back immediately. "What?" Vanessa's gaze stayed steady. "I'm serious. I'm tired of watching good men get used. I'm tired of Ariana treating you like you're disposable." Marcus's voice rose. "Ariana is your best friend." Vanessa smiled, slow and shameless. "Best friends don't always stay loyal." Marcus stepped back, disgust and shock mixing in his chest. Vanessa reached into her bag again and pulled out a small velvet box. She opened it. Inside was a men's ring, sleek and expensive. "I'm not poor like you think," Vanessa said softly. "And I can give you a new life, a powerful life." Marcus stared at the ring like it was poison. Vanessa moved closer, her voice dropping into a whisper. "Marry me, Marcus," she said. "Let the city watch you rise again, while Ariana watches you disappear." Marcus's heart pounded, his mind spinning between love and pain. And somewhere across the city, Ariana sat alone in her mansion, staring at Marcus's empty side of the bed. not knowing another woman had just offered him a new world. 3 days after Vanessa's proposal, the city was still gossiping like it lived off pain. Marcus had not accepted Vanessa's ring, but he also hadn't thrown her out the way he wanted to. His heart was too bruised, his mind was too confused, and Vanessa was smart enough to use his silence like permission. So she did what she was best at. She created a picture. That afternoon, Marcus stepped out of a quiet restaurant and froze when he saw the cameras across the street. Vanessa stood beside him instantly, slipping her arm through his like she belonged there. Marcus's eyes narrowed. "What is this?" Vanessa smiled brightly for the cameras. "Relax," she whispered. "Let Ariana feel what you felt." Before Marcus could pull away, flashes exploded. People shouted questions. Vanessa leaned in close enough to look intimate, and the next thing Marcus knew, the photos were already online. Billionaire CEO's ex-husband moves on. Marcus spotted with mystery woman. New romance after scandal. Across town, Ariana saw the images while sitting in her office. Her breath caught so sharply it hurt. Lena Brooks, her assistant, loyal and observant, was standing nearby and watched Ariana's face change. "Ma'am," Lena said carefully, "this doesn't feel natural." Ariana's hands trembled around her phone. "He moved on." Lena shook her head. "No, that woman is Vanessa. And Marcus. Marcus looks trapped." Ariana's stomach dropped. "Vanessa?" Lena's voice turned firmer. "Yes, and Derek is behind half of what's happening. I've been watching him. He's been calling gossip bloggers directly." Ariana's chest tightened. She stood abruptly. "Where is Marcus right now?" Lena hesitated, then spoke. "There's only one place he goes when he's overwhelmed, the small park on Willow Street. You told me once you two used to sit there when you were still dating." Ariana's eyes widened. "Willow Park." She grabbed her coat and left without another word. When Ariana arrived at the park, it was quiet. Trees swaying, children playing in the distance, the air gentle like it didn't know the world was breaking people. Then she saw him. Marcus sat alone on a bench, hands clasped, staring at the ground like he was trying to hold himself together with sheer will. He looked thinner, tired, like his soul had been squeezed. Ariana's throat tightened as she walked closer. Marcus looked up slowly and froze. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Ariana's voice cracked first. "Marcus." Marcus stood slowly, his eyes dark with pain. "Why are you here?" Ariana swallowed. "Because I saw the pictures." Marcus gave a bitter laugh. "So now you care?" Ariana flinched. "I never stopped caring." Marcus stepped forward, voice low. "Then why did you throw me out?" Ariana's eyes filled. "Because everyone was screaming, Marcus. My parents, the media, Vanessa, Derek." Marcus's jaw tightened at the names. Ariana's voice trembled harder. "I was drowning, and I let them pull me away from you." Marcus stared at her, breathing heavy, fighting with his own heart. "I saw you kissing Derek." Ariana's face twisted with shame. "I didn't want that." Marcus blinked. "What?" Ariana shook her head quickly. "My parents forced it. They said I needed a strong man beside me to protect the family image. Derek used it. He enjoyed it." Marcus's hands shook slightly. "So you didn't choose him?" Ariana stepped closer, tears slipping free. "No, I chose you. But I was too weak to fight them." Before Marcus could respond, a slow clap came from behind the trees. Vanessa Reed walked into view, smiling like a woman arriving to watch her own movie. "You two look so beautiful," Vanessa said sweetly. "So emotional." Ariana turned sharply. "Vanessa, what are you doing here?" Vanessa shrugged. "I followed Marcus. He's interesting." Marcus's eyes narrowed. "You set me up." Vanessa's smile didn't fade. "Prove it." That's when a firm voice spoke from the path. Actually, I can. A man stepped forward holding a folder and a phone. He was Detective Jonah Pike, private investigator, tall, serious, and looking uncomfortable, like he regretted being involved. Vanessa's smile twitched. Detective Pike cleared his throat. Vanessa Reed hired me to investigate Marcus, but while investigating, I found payment records. He held up his phone. Vanessa paid Tasha Lane to stage the kiss. Multiple transfers. Dates matched the incident. Ariana's breath left her body. Vanessa, Ariana whispered, voice shaking. You did that? Vanessa's eyes flashed with panic for a split second. Then she regained control. So what? She snapped. He deserved it. Ariana stepped forward, fury breaking through grief. You were my best friend. Vanessa's voice rose. And you were blind. You had a man everyone wanted, and you didn't even appreciate him. Marcus stared at Vanessa like he was finally seeing the monster beneath the makeup. Derek's car suddenly pulled up near the park entrance, and Derek stepped out, rushing toward them like he was coming to control the damage. But Lena appeared behind him, holding her phone up, recording everything. Derek froze. Ariana turned to Marcus, tears falling freely now. Marcus, I'm sorry. Please, come back. Marcus's chest rose and fell, torn between love and pain. He stepped closer to Ariana. Their faces were inches apart. They leaned in, almost kissing, almost choosing forgiveness. Then Ariana's phone rang. The screen flashed. Hospital emergency. Ariana answered, and her face drained of color. Her voice became a whisper. My parents, they've been in a car accident. Less than an hour later, the hospital lights were too bright, too cold, too unforgiving. Ariana ran through the entrance like a woman chasing the last pieces of her life. Her heels slapped the floor, her breath came out sharp, and her hands shook so badly she could barely hold her phone. Marcus followed behind her, not because the pain between them was gone, but because love doesn't vanish just because it gets wounded. Lena Brooks stayed close, her face tense as she guided them through the crowded hallway. Even Detective Jonah Pike followed at a distance, looking like a man who wished he had never touched this story. At the emergency desk, a nurse read Ariana's name. Then her expression changed instantly. Powerful names did that. Doors opened faster. People moved quicker. Ms. Carter Johnson? The nurse asked softly. Your mother is in surgery. Your father... The nurse paused. That pause felt like the world holding its breath. Ariana's eyes widened. My father, what? The nurse swallowed. I'm sorry. Mr. Harold Carter didn't make it. Ariana froze like her body refused to accept the sentence. Then the sound that came out of her wasn't a scream. It was worse. It was a broken, breathless gasp, like her soul had been punched. No, she whispered. No, no, my dad can't. Her knees buckled. Marcus caught her instantly, wrapping his arms around her as she collapsed into him, trembling. Ariana clutched his shirt like it was the only thing keeping her from falling into darkness. Marcus's voice was low and steady near her ear. Breathe, Ariana. I've got you. For the first time in days, Ariana didn't push him away. She held on. Minutes later, they were allowed into a waiting room near the operating theater. Ariana sat with her hands pressed to her mouth, eyes swollen with tears, staring at the floor like she was trying to wake up from a nightmare. Marcus sat across from her, quiet. His pain was still there, but right now, Ariana's grief was louder than his pride. Then the doors opened. A woman stumbled in, trembling like she had aged 10 years in 1 hour. Denise Carter. Denise, Ariana's mother, had always been polished, confident, and sharp-tongued. But now her hair was messy, her expensive makeup was smeared, and her hands shook like she was finally meeting the consequences of her own cruelty. When Denise's eyes landed on Ariana, she rushed forward. "My baby!" she cried, voice cracking. "Ariana!" Ariana stood slowly, tears falling. "Mum!" Denise opened her arms as if to hug her daughter, but then her eyes shifted. She saw Marcus, and something inside Denise snapped. Not anger, fear, regret, guilt. Denise's lips trembled, her knees weakened, and in front of everyone, nurses, strangers, Lena, Detective Pike. Denise Carter dropped to the floor. She fell to her knees before Marcus Johnson. Ariana gasped. "Mom!" Denise grabbed Marcus's hands like a desperate woman, holding on to the last rope above a cliff. "This is all my fault," Denise sobbed. "Harold is dead because we were blind, because we were cruel, because we kept pushing and pushing and pushing." Marcus stared at her, stunned. Denise's tears poured non-stop. "I destroyed my daughter's marriage. I called you useless. I poisoned Ariana's mind. I listened to the wrong people. I trusted Vanessa. I trusted Derek." Her voice broke into uncontrollable crying. "Please," she begged, "forgive me. Please, take Ariana back. Don't let her lose you too. She's already losing everything." Ariana's face shattered. She fell beside her mother, shaking her head, reaching for Marcus with trembling hands. "Marcus," she cried, "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I let them control me. I let them break us." Her voice became a whisper, the most honest thing she had ever said. "I didn't stop loving you, even when I pushed you away." Marcus's throat tightened so hard he couldn't speak at first. He looked at Ariana, this powerful woman who had always stood tall in public, now on her knees in a hospital waiting room, crying like a little girl who had finally realized what mattered, and he felt something inside him crack. Not hatred, not revenge, just pain and love, fighting for space in the same heart. Marcus slowly pulled his hands away from Denise and stepped toward Ariana. Ariana lifted her face, tears shining. Marcus's voice came out rough. "Ariana, Before he could finish, a doctor rushed into the room. His face was serious. "Mrs. Denise Carter," he said urgently. "Your surgery options. There's a complication. We need immediate consent and we need family authorization." Denise trembled. Ariana panicked. "What does that mean? Please, just save her." The doctor hesitated, then said words that chilled the room. "The insurance approvals, the specialist team, the emergency transfer. This isn't a simple case. Someone with authority needs to sign and make decisions immediately." Lena's eyes widened because she understood how hospitals worked. Marcus stood very still, because Marcus could sign. Marcus could move the entire system with one phone call. Marcus could save Denise's life without blinking. But if he did, questions would explode, doors would open, people would notice, and Ariana would finally learn the truth. Ariana grabbed Marcus's hand, desperate. "Marcus, please, help me. I can't lose my mom too." Marcus looked down at her hand, gripping his. Then he looked up at the hospital corridor where nurses rushed past. And somewhere far away, the Blackwell Empire waited for his command. His lips parted, and the screen should have faded right there. But one final moment made it even worse. As Marcus stood in silence, Ariana whispered the most heartbreaking thing of all. "If you save her, I swear I'll spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of you." Marcus's eyes filled, and he whispered back, barely audible, "You don't even know who you're talking to anymore." Ariana blinked. What do you mean?" Marcus didn't answer. He only turned slowly toward the hallway and took one step, then another, leaving Ariana behind with a question that could destroy everything. And as the hospital doors swung open in front of him, one thought echoed like thunder. When Ariana discovers the truth, will she run back to him? Or will she fear the man he really is? If you enjoyed this story, this is Mr. Hope, and you already know what to do. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, so you won't miss part 2 the moment it drops. And I want you to comment below, who is your favorite character so far? And why? Is it Marcus, Ariana, Lena, or even Vanessa? Also, tell me something else. Do you think Marcus should reveal his true identity in Season 2, or keep it hidden a little longer? Until next time, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next story.